Hi guys, it's Rebecca. So today I'm going to film a little recent reads video. So all the books I have read over the last couple of months. I have a little iced latte that I made myself. I've been making myself little iced caramel lattes and it's just the best. Anyway, let's get into all of the books that I have been reading. So as well, these are in no particular order, but one of the books I read recently was Girl Dinner by Olivie Blake. I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It follows 2 different characters. It follows Nina, who is trying to join a sorority called The House at university, and it's like this exclusive sorority that she really wants to be part of, but it has a really strange vibe and where things start to happen. We're also following the point of view of Sloane, who is a sociology professor at the university. It does have a lot of like sociological discussions about feminism, and Olivie Blake does say at the end in the acknowledgements that she's not trying to do anything necessarily new with those conversations, but she just had this idea and thought she might as well go with it. I think the cover does say a lot about what it is about and what kind of strange things might be going on with the rituals within this sorority. I really enjoyed this. It was weird. It was so easy to fly through. I quite like weird books and I don't mind reading just somebody kind of rambling, because it is very rambly. If you don't like rambly books, I wouldn't recommend this, but I quite like rambly books. I like to just be in somebody's head. I like to hear them thinking all sorts of things, strange things, normal things, whatever. I love that. This was my first Olivie Blake book and I did go and buy Masters of Death after reading this because I do want to read more of her books, but I was so actually pleasantly surprised because a lot of the times I don't really like hyped books or hyped authors. I end up being disappointed by them a lot of the time, but this I loved. I'm so glad that I got it, and it is a really nice Waterstones signed copy, so I'm really happy with that as well. So glad I asked for this for Christmas because I love it. So another book that I read recently was All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. I have had this book since I think 2018 whenever it came out. I really liked the Raven cycle. Well, I read the first 2 books out of the Raven cycle and I really liked them and then never ended up continuing with the series. I did really like the first 2 books. I got this one because of it, because I had read those and I had liked them. Another side note is that I do want to reread the first 2 books in the Raven cycle and finish out the series because I do remember really liking them. This book I really liked. It was just like a really fun time. It was so different. It follows like quite a few different characters. It's basically about these people who live in the Colorado desert. They are saints and they can perform miracles. People come from far and wide to get healed by these saints. What happens is after the first stage of the miracle, you will then physically transform. There's kind of like a puzzle that you have to figure out about yourself to be able to finish off the miracle and be fully healed. So there's like a darkness inside everybody, and if you make your way to this Colorado desert where all of these saints live and you get a miracle performed, it's not necessarily an easy process. The thing is as well that the saints can't intervene. So even if they know maybe what the answer would be for that person to figure out and then be able to complete their miracle, they still can't intervene, and if they do intervene then there will be consequences for the saint. We follow through that as the saints try to figure out maybe that they've not been living the way that they could have lived, or maybe they've not figured out everything that they thought that they had figured out. It's just really good. I really enjoyed this. It was so different. It was so cute. It is YA, but I would highly recommend this if you just want something kind of different, like fantasy realism. So easy to read, super short, and it is kind of confusing at the start, but once you get into it, it does all start to make more sense. I just thought it was really different. I thought it was really cute, and I really enjoy Maggie Stiefvater's writing, so if you did enjoy the Raven cycle, I would definitely recommend this as well. So the next book on my list that I read recently was Penance by Eliza. Someone that I work with recommended this to me. She lent this to me. This is actually her copy that I need to give back to her. Absolutely need to remember to do that whenever I next go to my office. I was actually really pleasantly surprised about, because I never really read books like this, any kind of psychological thrillers or crime or anything like that. I never really read anything like that, but I had heard of Eliza Clark and I had heard people talking about Penance, so whenever my coworker did mention about this, I thought that I would definitely give this a go, considering I have heard about it. This book is written kind of like a crime documentary where we are following the characters and the stories where a teenager is murdered, and we follow kind of through interviews and different kind of formatting of the people around and connected to this murder. So around like the victim's family and also the murderers characters and what was going through their minds. This is a book with an unreliable narrator. You can't really rely on the story entirely. That was really, really interesting. I really enjoyed that. I like that aspect of it, and it's super easy to read. It is kind of hard to read at times because it's literally about like a teenager being murdered. And I think it was interesting as well, a lot of conversation about those kind of true crime podcasts where people kind of feed off these horrible events. Like, how it's like kind of popular to enjoy true crime, and is that even possible to enjoy that, and does that desensitize the actual horrible events that happen, like actual murder and all of like the horrible things that are out there? Is it possible that we're kind of becoming desensitized to that? So I found that really interesting. I gave this 4 stars, I think, or maybe I gave it 3. Yeah, I gave it actually 3 stars because it could kind of get boring at times, so I wasn't entirely a fan of that. I don't know, it just didn't feel like a 4, to be honest. It just didn't feel like a 4. Overall, I'm glad I read it, and I did definitely enjoy it. So I realized as well that I did forget to say that I did give All the Crooked Saints 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. I just thought it was so different. Again, I've said that loads of times, but I really enjoyed that one. The next book that I read recently was The Favourites by Layne Fargo. I gave this 2 stars. I am so sorry because I know a lot of people loved this, but I thought like the Wuthering Heights retelling was so cringe. I think they're called Cath and Heath, or Cat and Heath, and it's just too on the nose and it's cringe. I don't like the interview format most of the time. I know I just said that Penance was in interview format, but it was slightly different than this. I don't know. I did not think Daisy Jones and the Six was very good. I also don't think that this was very good. It's very easy to fly through. That's why I gave it 2 stars. 1 star for how easy it was to read, but it was just too cringy for me. I think everything was shallow. I didn't connect to any of the characters. It's just like a terrible version of Wuthering Heights, if you ask me. I know it's not trying to be Wuthering Heights, and it's not trying to be like as serious as Wuthering Heights. I think it's starting to get to the point for me whenever I'm reading a lot of these popular books, and to be completely honest, I just think most of them are not well written at all. Okay, yes, it kind of took that toxic element of Catherine and Heathcliff's relationship and put it into this, but it just didn't work. If she had have used completely different characters and made up something new, I would have enjoyed it so much more. I just think that a lot of the times the interview format is cringy, and I can't really put it into words, but cringe. It's just cringe, just not very well written and nothing new. I just felt like I wanted it to be over, so I'm so sorry to anybody who loved this. A lot of people love this. I don't think it's that good. For a book to be so hyped, I want to start reading things that actually have some substance, and I'm starting to get kind of bored of reading the same thing over and over and over again, and unfortunately this kind of felt like that too. I just want something like a bit more. Why was it a Wuthering Heights retelling? I will never know. Okay, so the most recent book I read was Funny Story by Emily Henry. I actually really enjoyed this. I gave this 4 stars. A lot of the books in this list are 4-star reads. I think that this might have just been exactly what I was in the mood for at the time I was reading this. It is a fake dating romance, and I love that. I love fake dating plots. Like, I will just eat that up again and again and again. Basically, we're following Daphne, and she was engaged to Peter. She'd been with him for years, but he did have a best friend, Petra, and then one night, I think it was on his like stag do or something, she comes along and he ends up cheating on Daphne with Petra and comes home and basically saying, I'm leaving you for her. Petra does have a boyfriend called Miles. Daphne ends up moving in with Miles because she has nowhere to go. She was living with Peter. Miles was living with Petra, so she just thinks she'll move in with him. Peter then invites Daphne to his and Petra's wedding because they're now getting married. Daphne decides to tell Peter that she'll be there with Miles and that they're going together because they're actually in a couple. The romance with her and Miles goes from there. It's kind of a book about books as well because Daphne works in a library and she hosts little readathons and things. It's just really cute. I really enjoyed it. I like this better than Happy Place. That's the only other Emily Henry book that I have read, but I enjoyed this one more. I would recommend this if you just want like a really light, easy read. Then I would highly recommend. It's nothing like too deep, but it didn't cringe me out, and that's the main thing that I'm looking for most of the time in a romance. And it wasn't all about the romance as well. Like I said, like it's about Daphne and her relationship with her parents, her trying to make friends separate to Peter because she realizes that she has no friends like of her own. I liked that element, and I also liked her working in the library. I thought that was really cute as well. I would definitely recommend this if you want another Emily Henry or if you just want a really fun romance to read. So that is it for all of the books that I read recently. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have read any of these or what books you've read recently, because I would love to hear from you in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, then please give it a like and subscribe subscribed, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.